All right, we are here. It is season 5, round 3 at Long Beach of Forza Drift events. It has been quite a minute since round 2, and for me personally, Shunzi, it's been a minute since round 1. I apologize for missing round 2, but we're back here, and now hopefully everything's looking good over on YouTube and Twitch. Thank you guys for joining us, the viewers, the drivers, and of course Addict Actual on the panel with me now, joining me as the you're the line judge, right?
You, Shansi.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yep. So we got Addict on the line judge. Shreddit is the angle judge.
Shreddit is style, and
Shreddit is style.
The clown
and
is our angle judge.
There we go. Perfect. So we got our judges ready. Our drivers are loaded into the track, and we are ready to get going. But before we do, let's go ahead and take a quick peek at the track showcase and make sure, of course, the drivers are going to know exactly what to expect. For anyone else who's just tuning in, we're going to show you what today is going to be all about here in Long Beach. I'm going to head over to the track showcase. We'll be able to go through. It's kind of a shorter track, but very technical at some points here. Of course, we have the classic 3, 2, 1 cones before this, the judged section, a deceleration zone straight into a right-handed corner with an outside zone, the first outside zone on the exit of the corner. Our first transition into outside zone 2, kind of a tight corridor here. Classic Long Beach for anyone who's a fan of the track. But we have outside zone 3. Now this is where it gets tricky. The touch and go point here is followed by a decel zone into an inside clip at a hairpin. This is where you're going to be seeing a lot of inputs from drivers. You're going to be trying to keep it smooth, but you know, mistiming or a little bit too much deceleration, loss of momentum is definitely going to be difficult to manage. But let's go ahead and take a quick look at the keys to victory that our judges have pulled up for us. Let me go ahead and make sure I can see it myself. We have, of course, a smooth entry. A good run always starts with a good initiation and a good entry. And of course, there's a decel zone right after the initiation. So you're going to kind of have to expect your, of course, tomorrow during head-to-heads, your lead driver to lose some speed there. But the entry into OZ1 after that initiation decel zone is going to set up the rest of your line for outside zone 2 and 3. As Shreddit did discuss with our drivers during the drivers meeting, this track is not about speed. This track is all about momentum. Making sure you're not losing too much speed, managing your left foot brake appropriately, making sure your transitions are at the right time, and your line here matters a lot, especially when you get into OZ3 in that touch and go section. But of course, transitioning into OZ2 with great momentum, holding angle throughout OZ3, that's going to be, I think, a challenge for some drivers, perhaps with a little bit more grip in their builds or less horsepower, less torque. Making sure that they can maintain angle throughout that entire zone might provide a challenge for some of our drivers here. But of course, the wide transition into the touch and go. Now, the last hairpin, the final inner clip, is going to be an interesting one. We have to make sure we're keeping an eye on the line that drivers take through that final inside clip. Too shallow of an entry, and you're going to effectively choke out your chase driver, and that's going to cause you to get potentially DNFs in our qualifying here today, but more so tomorrow. We're going to be seeing drivers having to kind of manage that line as best they can. But as we come to an end of our keys to victory, let's go ahead and take a moment. Let me find my way over to the gameplay screen and see who is on our first drive. All right, we have driver versus driver. This is not a driver's battle. This is a driver solo. So first up, we have Boosted. Let me get myself out of rewind here. Should be, let's see, a boost. Oh yeah, Boosted 87. All right, here we go. First run of Long Beach. Oh. Shit, wrong horn. Okay, it's been a minute. We're gonna need to change that horn up for the next convoy. For this convoy, we'll do our best. All right. Thankfully, it's not head-to-head, so the timing of the initiation isn't as crucial. Holy cow, that's a high-speed entry. This is going to be difficult to keep up through here. Here we have the touch and go. Hairpin through the last corner. Little bit of lost momentum through there, but able to bring it through the finish line. Let's see here. Now I gotta find my way through this maze back to the starting line as our drivers, or our judges rather, give our first driver his score. Good to see you there, XGN, Itachi, Ken Flock, Drifter03. Good to see you guys on YouTube and Twitch. I have no idea where I'm going.
Go left, go left.
Okay. I appreciate the help. It's like I haven't done, it's like I've never done this before. Here we go. We have a line score of 27 from Judge 1, style score of 26 for Judge 3. That last snafu before the end of the judge section definitely going to cost a couple of points there. But a happy 78, not too shabby from Boosted. All right, up next, we're going to have Crazy Yoda, representing CCX. All right. Lots of speed. Great angle through outer zone 1. Yoda's looking solid through here. Little bit of a late entry into OZ2, but so smooth and established through OZ3, almost clipping the wall there through the touch and go. Beautiful run from Crazy Yoda.
I think he did get that wall just a little bit.
He touched it, didn't he? Able to handle it well, though. Didn't really seem like it phased him much. Man, is it just me, or is this the floor of the track is like the noisiest track I've ever heard? Style score of 31. Okay, this is setting us up for what could potentially be our first 90 of the day on the second run. Let's see what Judge 1 and Judge 2 give us. Let me go ahead and make sure I'm on Do Not Disturb, so that way we don't hear these Discord bleeps all the time. There we go. Hey, we appreciate that, those positive vibes there, as we do have a score of 90 for Crazy Yoda, 30-30, 31 for Crazy Yoda, setting a new standard for the rest of these drivers on Long Beach. Obviously, a veteran driver here in FDE, and has put the time in seat for the tune, for the experience on track. He has a game plan, and it executed perfectly here, nearly perfectly. And the qualifying round, he's going to be looking forward to tomorrow's head-to-head already, as we do have more drivers who want to find their way into the top 32. We are just getting started now. Good to see you, Chaser and Shadow, over on YouTube. Jetstream, of course, had drivers enjoying themselves too, seeing the competition, not just through Discord, but through our YouTube and Twitch live streams. Thank you guys for joining us at twitch.tv/Shunzi and youtube.com/Forza Drift Events. Of course, check out ForzaDriftEvents.com for any information you like about previous rounds or future rounds. This is round 3. We're about halfway through the season, but I think I'm getting ahead of myself. We are just starting. Man, that is a sweet looking Mustang. Love to see it. We have Hambone on the line, ready to set his qualifying score here at Long Beach. Again, apologies for the awkward horn, but we will make do. Man, this decel zone is going to be tough to stop this camera car. Definitely touched that wall right there. Here we have the touch and go. Big decel zone into the hairpin. Gonna have to practice getting a wider angle there for the camera, but looking pretty solid. Way to go, Hambone. Of course, what I say only holds so much weight. It's up to the judges to decide Hambone's fate. Did not intend to rhyme, but sometimes we get lucky. Gotta love the 67, Shelby. Glad to have you back, Shenzi. I appreciate that, Shadow. Thank you, guys. Looks like we got a 26 for style. .26 for angle. Judges taking their time, making sure Hambone gets all the points that he deserves. Now, I, of course, unfortunately missed round 2. I took a look at the top 32, but I did not look at the list of drivers who qualified, so I'm not sure if this is Hambone's first round. Do you recognize Hambone from round 2?
I remember seeing him, but
okay.
I don't remember if he was in the event. I think he was.
Okay. But here, Hambone has a 78, so pretty comfy score for tomorrow's top 32. Of course, depending on the distribution of scores we have here in Long Beach. Definitely a shorter track, but at certain points, very technical. We have Infa Faded from Why So Serious on the line, ready to go. So much speed. A wide angle, and that's going to be the first DNF of the day. So I think maybe just a little bit too much speed, or perhaps a little distracted, not able to get the right initiation at the right time. So that's going to be a DNF. Infa Faded will have a second chance after the rest of our convoy gets theirs. So we'll see him back on the line later. Unfortunately, that was after the initiation zone, the start of the judge section. So it's not a redo, it's a DNF. Little bit perhaps frustrated there, as putting yourself in a do or die situation can be pretty stressful. But we continue on with another driver. It is another veteran, Live It Up Boy, on the line. I'm trying to full throttle, ladies and gentlemen, but if the car gets away from me a little bit, we're going to have to... I would rather make sure we don't end up making a collision there. Ooh, some off-track bumps into cones. It hit on that right side wall, and that's exactly the risk, the consequence of the risk of tapping these walls. They can get kind of sticky. Of course, this isn't reality. We have a bunch of awkward physics in this video game, Forza Horizon 5. You never know what can happen, whether it's you stick onto the wall like a, you know, I don't know, something sticky like a Semtex, or you...
sometimes you hit it, it's like a bumper cars, you go flying across the track.
Yeah, it just throws you in a random direction sometimes. Sometimes you don't feel it at all, and your bumper just phases through the object. So that's just the virtual nature of our competition. But of course, Live It Up Boy will be back on the line with Infiltrated to redo their DNF. Moving on, we have Sensei Hoon, another name I'm not too familiar with, but perhaps,
The last round.
yeah, a round 2 driver. I'm going to have to keep getting some more information about drivers from last round, but let's see what Sensei Hoon has to offer. Oh, you don't got to wait for me. All right, here we go. Big initiation, lots of brakes. Not too much angle through OZ1, but it looks like he's going to continue barely skating by that outside wall there. Going into the touch and go and the hairpin, slowing down. Getting through it all and through the judge section. So a completed run from Sensei Hoon. Definitely a difficult initiation. The amount of speed and the really what it's going to be is the difference in speed when you get onto that initiation zone. You might not have a specific speed in mind, and you might just try to feel it out turn by turn, run by run. But that leaves room for error where you might have more speed, less speed than you think. The timing of your brakes and e-brake definitely come into the equation. So timing is everything. We have a style score of 25 from Judge 3. Good to see you, Invisible Goblin, over on Twitch. Hello, hello. Welcome in. Welcome in. A 24 from Judge 2 for Angle. Now, that Angle score is definitely going to be reflecting the initiation and that outer zone 1. It's a very important part of the track. I mean, shoot, the length of this track, you know, there's only 3 outside zones. There's a touch and go and an inside clip. You have 5 places to show off. So a total score of 75 for Sensei Hoon here. Perhaps a couple of points less than he may have wanted, but might be just enough for tomorrow's top 32. But again, okay, we have XGN Itachi. We will continue as we go through with Itachi here. But there's not that many zones, so you got to kind of make sure you make the most out of each one of them. Some good line correction there from Itachi going through OZ2. A little bit too much sauce on that transition, setting into a wild 720. Perhaps maybe just a planned 720? No, that's a DNF. I was like, maybe he keeps going. That's a DNF.
He said, I'm just throwing 360 in the middle of my
I do remember one driver, I believe Joshy Jenkins from Season 4, who put a 360 before his initiation on Englishtown. I'll always remember that. But
yeah,
a DNF for Itachi here. He'll be joining our other DNF drivers after the rest. You guys can kind of join me on the little trek back to the starting line here. A beautiful day, as always, in the land of Forza Horizon 5, as the buildings glitch in and out of existence before our very eyes.
no, but let's give a huge shout out to our man Shreddit for the track that he has built us here for the day.
Absolutely. You gotta love the FDE staff here that we have, recreating the tracks as accurately as they possibly can. This isn't Assetto Corsa. We can't have scanned tracks. It's just Event Lab, but we do our best, and we hope that everyone appreciates it. We have CCX Young Ziagi on the line for his Long Beach quali. Lots of speed from this Mustang, can already see that. Big initiation, almost out to that wall. Great slide through OZ1. Very, very smooth. Gotta love to see that. So smooth, so much angle. Young Ziagi.
Come in swinging.
Swinging the GT around the track, looking like he knows every inch of the asphalt. The 31 from our style judge already, perhaps our second 90+ score of the day, a 31 for a line. Now, there's the line score. Definitely want to highlight that last hairpin. You're going to be seeing some points dropped or gained based on the basically how much of an arch you're able to maintain through that hairpin. If you're cutting that corner and kind of turning it into a triangle, you're going to see points lost. But we do see here another score of 90. It's actually a 92, so I believe now our #1 qualifying score of the day. Of course, we are just getting started, but 2 90s already might be kind of giving us some insight into just how prepared and competent our drivers are for this track. Perhaps those lower 70 scores might not cut it to make it into the top 32, but we do have our DNF drivers back on the line. We have with us Infafaded back. This is a do or die situation. We'll hope that he can get through this. You never love to see a double DNF. God dang, he has the speed for it. Little bit of a touch on that wall there, but it looks like he handled it well. Oh, that's a double DNF.
Oh, no.
Just a little bit too much angle on that OZ3. He was trying, I think it was perhaps a little bit too much speed. He was trying to bring the car back in to get prepared for the transition after or before the touch and go. But unfortunately, that inward rotation added a little bit too much oversteer. And he tried keeping it. You can see just how on the edge he was for how long he held it. But unfortunately, yeah, unfortunately not able to bring the weight back around. That's a double DNF. Infafaded, definitely a talented driver who has had plenty of top 32s and top 16s, I believe, in the past. Maybe even a top 8 in there, but unfortunately double DNF today. Looking forward to round 4 for Infafaded. But Live It Up Boy is up next. Of course, you know, there's always not just drivers who can make certain rounds and then other rounds they have to sit out because they have work or family. Obviously, this is an international competition. Drivers from all over the world are competing. So there's also varying levels of preparation. Some drivers able to get in weeks of practice and other drivers perhaps just hours. So that's always something you got to consider. But we do have on the line now, I believe this is Live It Up Boy. Our graphic is a little bit outdated, but that is okay. We'll take Live It Up Boy on a drive through the course here. Avoiding those rumble packs, those inside red and white rumbles. Lots of corrections here. This is a little bit of an awkward entry into OZ3 and the touch and go. A little bit deep there on the hairpin, but pulling it out. I mean, hey, a finished run is better than a perfect run. You know, perfect is the enemy of the good here. So we'll go ahead and see what Live It Up Boy earned with that. But I think what we saw there was perhaps a little bit too much correction early on and kind of trying or having trouble settling into a specific line, and that kind of costing him and compounding issues throughout the rest of the track. Great angle, great control, but just not able, didn't seem too comfortable with their line there. We see 24 for style and a 25 for line. and a 24 for Angle, a total of 73 for Live It Up Boy. Now, these numbers here, when you get into the middle range of 70s, you start getting into the cutoff zone for the top 32. So perhaps this is enough, perhaps it's not. We'll have to wait until later. Obviously, we have XGN Itachi waiting on the line to set his score for Long Beach in round 3. I need to make sure I'm getting some, maybe getting some rolling starts for these faster drivers, but XGN Itachi with an early transition, looking good through there with a little bit of a tap onto the wall. Ooh, that's going to be one tire. That's not a very full zone there, but one tire is all he got. He has to keep going through. Again, perfect is the enemy of the good. You can't just call it quits here. You got to finish the run, and Itachi does get to the end of the judge section, but that outer zone 2 is going to cost him a lot of points. That was about one singular tire into the zone there. But it is a completed run, and the other zones did look pretty good. A solid initiation, but man, the speed management of that decel zone after the initiation into outer zone 1 after that corner, it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot. A 24.5 for style there. I'll take it. Let's get into the tenths of points.
I love those half points, man.
24 from our line judge. Just waiting on our angle. Man, I can't see the chat because my laptop's dead. Unfortunate. I'm going to fix that during commercial break. I think we're going to have our angle score soon, as that was our last DNF driver, I think. Actually, we have one more. I think it's Sensei Hoon and Picasso, perhaps. But looks like we have an angle score of 22. So a 70.5 from XG and Itachi. It's going to be frustrated with that outer zone 2. But, of course, Long Beach is no walk in the park. So a finished run in FDE is a good run. Can't always grab all the points. But I think we have one more driver. I'm a little confused here. I'm getting an invite to another convoy of drivers, but we have Sensei Hoon and Picasso still in the convoy. Shred It, can I have some? I'm gonna get some word from our judges here.
Sensei Hoon already has a score.
They already have scores? New lobby? Okay, we're going to a new lobby. We'll be back right after these messages. Welcome back from commercial break. This is Forza Drift Events Season 5, Round 3 at Long Beach. We have already had a convoy go onto the track and show us what they can do. 2 scores of 90 plus already, just within 10 drivers. So that might set the stage for the cutoff for the top 32 tomorrow. But again, I feel like I'm constantly getting ahead of myself today. We, of course, have another convoy coming up now. We're making our way back to the track. And we'll get started here quickly. But, yeah, so points that you have been noticing already. Where do you think is going to be the most challenging point this weekend for drivers, Addict?
Either the initiation or from the OZ3 to the touching gap.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's definitely been a lot of people struggling with getting their cars in the right places, and
yeah,
if you're off by a millimeter, it'll put you completely wrong.
Yeah, and we already saw a pretty seasoned driver, Infa Faded from YSS, that OZ3 just taking a little bit too wide of a line and trying to steer into the corner caused that oversteer and our first double DNF. So even if you're a veteran driver, this track can claim you at any point. But we are already on the line, I believe, with GT2 Picasso, another familiar name. Let's take it back to the track and see what he's got. Of course, we're going to put our current scores at the top of the screen so you can kind of review where the top 10 are at. That bar has been set pretty high already by Young Ziagi with a 92 and Crazy Yoda with a 91. Boosted at a 78, so lots of 80 scores I predict to come up soon. We'll see if Picasso can find his way around me. Who we got? Yeah, we got Picasso here. Looks like he's just doing a little circle. Yeah,
he's just warming his tires up a little bit.
All right, GT2 Picasso, Long Beach. Here we go. I did not do a rolling start. I got to get better at that. But looks like we're still in a decent distance here. A little bit of a touch there on that wall. Looking good. Picasso made it through the whole track. Great angle, good line. Pretty textbook to me. Let's take it to the judges panel. Thank you guys again for joining us on Twitch and YouTube today. Good to see you, Chaser, there over on YouTube. Ken Flock, Durka Turk on Twitch. It's nice to be on both platforms again. We noticed that some people just stick around on Twitch and don't really have a lot of time spent on YouTube, so we figured we'd bring it over to both platforms and give everyone the chance to see that the event's going on, not keep it hidden from people. But we do have Picasso's style score of 28. Pretty solid score there, and an angle scored a match of 29. We could be seeing that 80s bracket score for Picasso. Brian Feebles, Baz, great to see you. BFG Bart, what's up? Good to see you, gentlemen. A 28 for line, which is an 85. That is going to be a great score. Not hitting the 90s club, very close, but that middle of the road 80s is going to be a very comfortable score. Well done to Picasso. Onward and upward, it is Dakeem on the line. Fortunately, I was too busy during the break and didn't change my horn, so we get the stupid horn again for another convoy.
I'll try to remind you.
Thank you. Great initiation, smooth into OZ1, smooth into OZ2, some line correction. Butt touching the wall there. Great touch and go, great hairpin. Lots of momentum lost there at the apex of that hairpin, but still made it around in a nice looking arch. Super controlled, looking calm, cool, and collected. That's what you expect from Dakim. I know it's not. I forgot to change my horn. What can you do? If I forget again,
we got to get him back in the saddle again.
Exactly. I missed round 2. My brain is just mush now. We have a style score of Dakim for 29. Definitely an opportunity for another 90 score here. Ooh, a line score of 30. It's looking good so far. All we need is an angle score of 31. Maybe not quite there, but this is definitely going to be a high 80s. 87, angle score of 28 for Dakim. Very solid score. Well done. All right, we have Crewx on the line, ready to go. Great looks. Very smooth. Perhaps not as full into OZ2. Big hit against the wall there, pulling it back to the inside for the touch and go. Little bit of a late apex there for the hairpin, but still making it through. Lost his spoiler on OZ3. Pretty exciting run there from Crewx, but we'll see how he fares from the judges panel. You can see how much the line and speed management, I mean, there's a lot that goes into this, so if anything is out of order, you can see it. And again, the track is short. There's only 5 zones, of course 4 zones and then a touch and go for you to be able to show off, so you really got to make the most of each spot. But 28 for style, 27 for line for Tro. And an angle score coming in. An 81, making it into the 80s just barely. But a solid run from Crewx nonetheless. All right, we have another CCX member rocking the round 3 livery. It is Apollo Creed. Okay, not a fast one. See how he handles this initiation. Going a little bit wide, making good corrections here. You can see that he was starting to oversteer there. He made that correction necessary. A very late transition, and that is 3 tires off. A DNF'd for Apollo Creed. Now, it was just the correction after OZ3. He was trying to set himself up so he didn't oversteer, and I think that might have took his attention off of the transition necessary before the touch and go. And a late transition means a late apex and an off-the-track DNF. Easy to do. That's going to be the killer spot. As Addict Actual, I mean, you pointed out earlier, that's the spot that's going to take a lot of drivers for a spin. Maybe literally.
That is definitely one of the most difficult places throughout the whole track.
Yeah.
If you don't hit it just right, you will be way off.
Yeah. Oh, this plant is made out of adamantium.
That's funny.
What can you do? All right, we're back here. I think I know that car. That's a Bionic bunghole car. It is indeed a Bionic, and you see the license plate. Full lock driver ready to set Long Beach round 3 score. Big Wang gang into the initiation. Smooth into OZ1. Good initiation. Let's hope that continues out through the rest of the track. That's a lot of angle going into OZ3, but maintaining it beautifully. Lots of angle. Beautiful transition through the touch and go. A great arch through the last hairpin, and Bionic Bunghole showing up in Long Beach. Holy cow, I thought that was going to be an oversteer with how much angle he put onto that OZ3 and touch and go. But he kept it. A style score. Yeah, go ahead.
Definitely, I was gonna say that was definitely a spicy class corner.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I like the angle, but I do like to see a bit of a wider entry and a wider exit personally. You know, as we can probably show later on in the track showcase, perhaps after our next commercial break, we'll kind of go back into the track showcase and show what a wide arch looks like. But regardless of my preference, obviously the judges are eating it up. It is a 30-30 for Bionic Bunghole, perhaps our third 90 of the day, depending on the angle. Judge 2 robbing Bionic Bunghole by a singular point. It is an 89 for Bionic, but an 89, I mean, come on. Everyone here knows that's a stellar score. Well done for Bionic. 90s Club, just that close. And here we have, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, our round 2 at Oman International champion. This is Zanzi, a driver that I have not seen before, but obviously in round 2, you guys will remember, this is our gold medalist from round 2. So I'm expecting good things here. Let's see what he's got. Love to see that purple livery. Gotta love the purple tint as well. Oh, he has this. Yeah, he has this transition. He had it. Oh, wow. Yeah. Smooth, in control, barely any correction, so much angle. Beautiful transition. Oh, just missing the inside clip. Maybe he had a bumper lip over the inside clip. I love the line that he took, but it was just a little bit too deep into the corner. That might cost him a point or two for the line score, but regardless, you can see the expert level skill from Zanzi. What a freaking treat that was.
Well, he is definitely a committed driver. And
yeah.
That's what we love to see.
His initiation looked so calculated. It looked like he knew exactly how many transitions he had to do. Like he looked like he's done that quite a lot. So
if I remember right, he doesn't have a handbrake either.
Ha! No way.
He is doing this without a handbrake.
So it's just a Scandi, right? Is that what you'd call it? Scandi flick into the initiation. Zanzi with a 92. Our third 90 of the day, tying our first place score. Zanzi definitely is bringing the heat in round 3 as well. Perhaps a podium competitor there. But of course, we have plenty of drivers to come up next to try and fight for those podium spots. Right now, it is a Play Pro on the line. Of course, the part of the FDA staff, just as Dakeem was as well. We do have some FDE staff driving today. Play Pro giving us our beautiful track showcases throughout the season. This is indeed the real Shunzi. Hello on Twitch. We are here with Play Pro on Long Beach. Great transition, touching the rumbles there. I'm going to be interested in seeing what the judges have to say about that. And we can see in our track showcase, I will remind everyone that you're not supposed to use those rumbles. Now, it wasn't very liberal usage, just a little toe tap, but we'll hear from our judges about that. Thankfully, I'm not a judge. Beautiful looks from Play Pro, though. Everything else, I mean, absolutely in control. You can see that he's confident with where he's putting the car. You can see he's confident with the speed that he's maintaining throughout the entire track. There weren't that many corrections. Had a great angle where he needed to have it on that outer zone 3 exit and on the initiation. A 32 out of 33 potential points for the style score. A Booger Sugar coming in from the old days of Battlefield. Interesting. Well, welcome back. This is Forza Drift Events. We have here a line score of 30 for Play Pro and angle score coming in just last. Fantastic job there, Zanzi, joining us over on YouTube. You have a competitor here in your hands, though. It is a 91 for Play Pro. Beautiful scores coming out. Lots of 90s already. Love to see it. Of course, if I were a driver, perhaps I would not love to see it. The more 90s you get, the higher that cutoff score for the top 32 gets. But we have IX Baz, our silver medalist from round 2. IX Baz also the...
Baz won.
Oh, Baz won? I thought it was Zanzi that won.
I thought it was Baz that won.
I think Baz got second.
Oh, let me look.
Yeah, I think Baz got second. Leader of CCX and previous judge of FDE. So definitely a great community figure here that just loves the game, loves the sport, and knows how to throw down. Let's take a look.
Okay, Zanzi was first. Oh, well, it's my fault.
It's all good. I'm sure it was a close fight. Baz knows what's up.
Oh, it was a good battle.
Oh, here we go. Looking exactly like Zanzi. He knows how to make this entry. He knows how to touch that wall on the outside, and too much. Wow.
Oh, no.
So perhaps a little bit of a ping pong battle there with this Supra. Bouncing off of that outer zone 1, it looked like it didn't affect him too much initially, but obviously carrying maybe a little bit too much momentum or just at the wrong angle into OZ2, and that's a DNF. You know,
I think he just got excited.
Yeah, it's easy to do. This is why I say any completed run in FDE is a good run. If you get through this track and you put down a scoreable run, that is an accomplishment. Whether you're sitting at a 60, 70, 80, or 90, it's a good score. So, of course, doesn't mean you're going to get into the top 32, but hey, you still had an accomplishment regardless. Yeah, adamantium plants here. We'll take it back to the track. We have now CCX Bubba, and I know the car before I see it. It's going to be that C7 Corvette. Hello, CCX Bubba, another casual crew member.
Has a ton of seat time in that car.
Oh yeah,
I mean a ton.
Yeah, he's been rocking this Corvette for more than a season now. Probably closer to 8 rounds. He's going to be intimately familiar with this car. Let's see how he handles the challenge that Long Beach proposes. I feel like he's going to be a fast one out the gate. Not too much. Getting his car ready for that entry. Big correction there on line, but doing well. Lots of angle through OZ2 and OZ3. Some bumper touches. Good transition before the touch and go. Great arch through the last inner clip, and that's what you expect from Bubba as well. Another veteran driver throwing down on Long Beach. Fantastic looks. Good to see you there, Fly Fuzzball. CA Apollo. Style score of 30 coming in from Judge 3. A 29 from Judge 1 on the line. Now, Addict, while we wait for Judge 2, can you tell me what exactly went into that 29 score there? What were the points? I mean, he didn't really lose a lot of points there. I think that's 4 points lost throughout the entire track, so nearly perfect. But what went into the subtraction of 4 points there? What were the points?
A lot of it was the little mishap in the initiation.
Okay,
It was a weird
major correction.
Push out. Yeah, he had to push himself out to keep himself off the rumble strip, which then threw him off after the next. So, after he got it cleaned back up, though, that was a very good, solid run. Yeah,
absolutely comfortable with an 87 for CCX Bubba. Up next, looks like we have another YSS member. Why So Serious Preem. Gotta love the 03, 2008 M3. One of my favorite BMWs. Actually, no, it's my favorite BMW of all time. I love the 92. Do it justice. Sliding in right where he wants to. Tiny little touch onto the wall there. Handling it beautifully. Great angle. Another touch into OZ3. Very stylish. Good transition. Lots of momentum lost on that hairpin. You know, I think that's going to be a solid run here during qualifications, but every time I see that much deceleration, that much momentum lost, I keep thinking to tomorrow's head-to-head battles. Tomorrow is when you're going to be, seeing a lot more consequence for how these drivers are leading and chasing their runs when they have another driver they're trying to match. But obviously today it's just a qualifying run. As long as you don't take it too sharp, as long as you keep that wide entry and wide exit, that is a chaseable, quote, chaseable run, you're good to go. You're set. So a score of 90 coming out from YSS Preem. Triple 30s on the board. Unfortunately, or I guess fortunately for Preem, able to get that last point into the 90s club for round 3. Definitely an accomplishment to hit that 90s mark in any round. And of course, we have our DNF'd drivers. That was the convoy. Now we have the few DNF'd drivers. These are now do or die situations. These guys have to complete this run. If they do not, it is a double DNF and their round 3 is over. Up first, I believe this is CCX Apollo Creed. Hurting for angle there for a little bit, but I think he's got to make the necessary corrections here. And there is the same thing that happened to Infafaded.
That is so unfortunate.
Yeah. The line that you take through OZ1 and OZ2 sets you up for OZ3. A bad line means different speed, perhaps, different angles. You got to make sure. And then that's just all about repetition, really. You can have good runs, you can have bad runs, but the more you practice, the more comfortable you're going to be in correcting situations like that. And an unfortunate early exit from round 3 for Apollo Creed. Definitely going to be frustrated with that outcome. But, of course, we're only halfway into the season. There is half a season left to come back and prepare. And, of course, we will have more news on the future rounds coming later in the show. But if you, of course, want to find out more information about Forza Drift events in the future, past or present, check out ForzaDriftEvents.com, and you can see all the information you want and access to our community Discord. If you want to compete, ForzaDriftEvents.com. All right, we're back on the line. It's CCX Baz. You know this name if you're in the community. A several time on the podium driver. major community figure, it would be shocking to see double DNF, but anything can happen.
Yeah, I'd say he'll tone it down just a notch just so he can get that completed.
Yeah. That angle does not seem like toning it down to me, but hey. Great transition timing. Nice wide arch. Perhaps not filling out that inner clip as much as he wants to, but a completed run nonetheless. That's all he needed to do. You know, when it comes down to these...
Definitely getting the score.
Yeah. When it comes down to these do or die situations, these double DNF situations, you know, you definitely don't want to go balls to the wall, but you know, there's kind of a strategy, in my opinion, in, I guess not necessarily, just because I'm thinking about the seeding, right? So the top 32, the difference in seeding, whether you're, you know, the first top score, or maybe you're the 16th score or 20th score, the seeding is reflective across the 15-16 position. So first driver hits the 32nd driver and so on and so forth. So I don't know. There is a little bit of strategy perhaps with seeding, but just trying to get across the finish line when you're in these situations. And an 87 is definitely a solid score. And yeah, CCX Bags is going to be happy with that. We'll most likely see him back tomorrow. It would be, I'd say, nearly impossible for 87 to not make it into the top 32, but that is it for this convoy. We will be back after a few short messages. Don't go anywhere. We have more round 3 at Long Beach coming up next. Welcome back once again. This is Forza Drift Events Season 5, Round 3 at Long Beach. Several convoys of drivers have already gotten through, many 90s and just a couple of double DNFs. This track is short but complicated, and it's definitely easy at some points to make mistakes, even if you're a veteran driver. But we have another convoy loading in right now. We're going to take just a minute to get there. So if you hear some background sounds, that's just us loading in and getting started. But yeah, great to see everyone over on YouTube. Of course, I'm Shunzy. Great to be back after a little bit of a hiatus during round 2, joined by Judge Addict Actual.
What up, yo?
It's been a pretty good round so far. I think we're making pretty good time as well. We're about an hour in and already on our third convoy, so getting through these qualies and making sure everyone is able to enjoy the rest of their day. But of course, this could be the highlight of your day. I know it's the highlight of mine. Gotta love seeing a little bit of Forza drifting.
There's drifting. There's nothing in the world like drifting. It's fun to do. It's fun to watch. It's just fun to be around.
Yeah, I love the community too, just because of how many, not only people from around the world, around the country here in U.S. as I am from California, I believe. Addict, you're Ohio, right?
Yes, sir.
So we have people from all over, but we also have people who may just be fans of Forza, not really into the drifting sport, and then you have other people who maybe got into this from the drifting sport specifically. People who've been watching, like yourself, Addict, have been watching Formula Drift for over a decade now, and people like me who have only ever watched a few rounds. So maybe I shouldn't have said that, but yeah.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. We accept everybody.
Exactly.
The drifting community is just one big happy family. Everybody takes care of each other, and anybody will help anybody out.
Yeah, it's just all about having fun and enjoying our time on our favorite hobby. We have our driver on the line ready to go. Let's take it to actually the track showcase. Let's discuss really quickly just one quick example before we go back into the qualifications. This initiation has already caused some problems for drivers. Obviously, they have been having a lot of corrections. Drivers like Zanzi or CCX Baz, you can tell their initiations are super smooth. They have a lot of seat time, most likely preparing for round 3. But also, Outside Zone 3 has been claiming a lot of drivers. We've seen 2 oversteers on the exit of Outside Zone 3. And not too many issues going into the hairpin. We did see one driver go off. There was a late transition into the touch and go, which caused them to have a little bit too much momentum going into the corner, and they were off on the outside of the corner. But definitely trying to maintain that nice long arch. We'll go ahead and just fast forward this and take a quick second to highlight the angle that this arch has. So as we go through here, see this wide entry. The rear of the car is just about to that red line, leaving a lot of space. Of course, during qualifications, there's not actually a chase driver, but tomorrow when we get to head-to-heads, those line scores are going to be determined by a lot by this section. It's a decel zone. It's very complicated after a touch and go, leaving enough space on the inside clip for that chase driver to get on the clip with you without slowing down too much and causing an accident. I think we might see more issues in that zone tomorrow, but today it's really just been the initiation, the Outside Zone 3, and the touch and go. But we have more drivers ready to take on the challenge that is Long Beach. Great to see you guys over on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. We had Solo Lessie, community legend, in the chat over on YouTube. The Season 4 season champion, not just the champion of several rounds, but the champion of the entire season of Season 4 in the chat earlier. Good to see you, Solo Lessie. We have Sir Seek, a bunch of drivers out there. YSS Digital, our 3rd place over there on YouTube. I'm sure waiting for his chance to get into onto the track. But without further ado, we have TKOG on the line from Why So Serious, ready to go through Long Beach. You heard it right. I do indeed have the correct horn. Finally. Finally. Now this Cadillac brings back round 1, 2, and 3 memories from Season 4 for me. We saw perhaps an infamous name in the community, YSS Fish, take this Cadillac through those tracks. But now we have YSS TKOG taking his turn in the Cadillac through Long Beach, looking very solid throughout the entire... Oop, that is the wrong one. Here we go. Qualifier scoring, taking his Cadillac through the entire track there, looking pretty solid. 29 from our Judge 3. Ice Rabbit Design, great to see you. Ice Rabbit Design, one of the best from scratch original artists in the game that I have ever seen. If you guys are interested in livery creation, go check out Ice Rabbit Design. I feel like the artists in the community probably know that name. Style score of 29, a line score of 30. Oh, absolutely, Rabbit. It's great to see you, man. Hope things are well for you. A total of 87 here for TKOG. Gonna be happy with that. Again, the middle of the road 80s scores are gonna be very comfortable. Those are usually the scores that are, you know, anywhere between the 10th and 20th seed, kind of make out the middle of the pack. But onward, it is JDM Caliber waiting for us on Long Beach, ready to get going. And JDM Caliber, another familiar face in FDE, longtime competitor. I believe we've seen JDM Caliber a few times in the top 16, and I think a few times in the top 8 as well. Looking solid through Long Beach, perhaps a bit too much momentum loss there on that last line, but again, that's going to be something that we see more of, more consequence for in the head-to-heads, but looking great with angle and line. And looks like our style judge agrees. 29 for style for JDM Caliber. Going well so far, Ice Rabbit Design. We're just getting started here. You know, about an hour and a half into our qualifying runs. It's going good so far. I think Long Beach is probably going to be a love or hate relationship with these drivers. I think it's a take it or leave it kind of track. What do you think, Addict? Sorry, I know you're also judging, so if you need a moment, take it. But
oh no, I'm good. Yeah, Long Beach is definitely going to be one. Either you're going to love it or you're going to hate it. You know, if you get it right, it's fucking great. But if you get it wrong, you're going to struggle.
Yeah. I think it might be in the favor of drivers who have maybe more of a rolling technique. I feel like the tight corridors and the tight zones to the walls might be tough for those like micro flicks for you know, flicking players. But JDM Caliber, very smooth with it, even if he uses a stick flicking player. 82 for JDM Caliber. Now, the technique with driving, whether you're on obviously if you're on a wheel, you have one technique. But if you're on a controller, you have rolling or flicking the stick. And that can definitely influence your style, influence your angle as well. So lots goes into this. But we have not Why So Serious. This is a CCX Pulse on the line, ready to get going. Yeah, New Order, the course is very tight corridors, especially this initiation here. As we can see, Pulse taking it beautifully through the initiation zone and decel zone. Outer zone 1 looking solid. Now that outer zone 2 is very tight to OZ1, so it can get kind of tough. And you see just then and there why CCX Pulse having a little bit of trouble after a OZ2 barrier bump. Now, it's not necessary, of course, if you watch Formula Drift or Drift Masters or what have you, you know that there's a lot of wall scraping going on, and that's part of the score. But in the game, it's kind of difficult to encourage that, as the way that the car's physics interacts with the surface varies too wildly. It's not consistent, so it's a risk to hit those walls like that. And sometimes it ends up throwing you off your line, and it's easy to make mistakes. So Pulse definitely going to be looking to tighten things up a little bit on his second run there. He'll join our DNF drivers at the end of the convoy. We have a Bronzy on the line ready to go. Now, sometimes the wall is forgiving and doesn't get you in too much trouble. Maybe a late transition here. He might go wide on that clip. He's able to bring it back in. Looking good. Way to go, Bronzy. Yeah, NXL Shadow, absolutely. It's great to have more people in the community. Sensei Hoon, great to see you. Absolutely. Yeah, we love our staff here. We love it. I gotta give a shout out to all the staff that puts this together. You guys can see everyone. I don't think I could sit here and name all who are involved, whether it's the track creators or the YouTube video producers or the judges. Of course, everyone kind of bringing it together to create these events, and of course to our drivers for showing up and putting in the time to practice and put on a show for people and for each other. Bronzy waiting his angle score. A 26 for Engels, so that's going to be a total of 81 for Bronzy. A happy 80. Now, if I were to get an 80 on any track in FDE, I would be grinning. That is a great score to have and a safe score to get into that top 32. Up next, looks like we got Spunky Monkey in a good-looking R33. Ooh, losing a spoiler early, but not allowing it to phase him too much. Looking solid through these zones. Full coverage of these zones here. Nice little transition into the touch and go and decel zone. My God. Ooh. Spunky Monkey, an unfamiliar face in FDE. I'm not sure if he was in round 2.
I'm pretty sure that's Funky Monkey.
Oh.
Previously, Funky Monkey.
Okay, Spunky Monkey. If that's Funky Monkey, we know Funky Monkey. But
I may be wrong. If I am, somebody can correct me. But I'm pretty sure that is.
New, old, veteran, noob, doesn't matter. That was a great run. Very solid run. Judge 3 style score of 29. Spunky Monkey and Funky Monkey are two different people with similar names. Gotcha. Well, Spunky Monkey, fantastic job. I have never seen your name in FDE, and it's glad to have you because you put on a show. 29 for style and 28 for angle. Always love to see new names come with the heat. Yeah, apparently different people. And an 88 for Spunky Monkey. Yeah, it's different people. Spunky and Funky are two different people, yeah. Two different drivers. It's all good. I mean, you never know. Sometimes people change gamer tags, change accounts, whatever. But a great score. Well done, Spunky. Hey, I appreciate that, Zanzi. Thank you for the love on Twitch. We have now Fly Fuzzball with Casual Crew. CCX, you know the name. Can Fly Fuzzball get through the track the way he wants? Man, I love those wheels. Man, I love that car. Is that a Soarer or is that the... That is a Soarer. What? Let's go. That's sick. Oh my god, that angle into the initiation. He's serious right here, baby. Okay, we missed Outer Zone 2. Who gives a shit? Outer Zone 3 covered. Now this might be a strategic DNF. I wouldn't surprise me. He might just go all the way through with it because, god dang, he missed Outer Zone 2. But the angle is nasty.
That initiation was sick.
Yeah, that initiation was nasty. The style might be solid. That line score is going to take a hit for sure, but my goodness. Yay, Zanzi with a gifted sub. Thank you very much for that support. We love to see it over on Twitch. Of course, not really streaming full-time anymore, but we love that hype. A style score of 31 for our Judge 3. You know that was going to be a high score. So stylish in that new Soarer, Toyota Soarer from Fly Fuzzball. And I'm going to go ahead and guess that the angle score is going to be a 30 plus as well, perhaps a 29. But that line score, those 5 points subtracted, that's going to be 5 points for that zone. That's a 90, a 31, 31, 28, a 90 for Fly Fuzzball. That's wild.
That initiation was sick.
Yeah, the initiation, I think, might have carried him into that 90s club score right there. Because holy cow, the 90-degree angle, perhaps even negative angle going into the initiation on this track with that outside wall looming to take you out. And he just commits full send into the corner like that. You gotta respect it. Gots to. Up next, it's gonna be tough to follow, but we know the name. Karma Mark IV, multi-podium winner from Season 4 and Season 5, I believe. Was it round 1? Perhaps you went on podium? I don't know, but you know Karma. Let's see what he's got on Long Beach. My god, he's zooming away in that little S15. Whoo! He's braking too. Great coverage. Looking good, losing that big wang. Good transition, slowing down with angle. Beautiful arc through the hairpin. Man! Yeah, you know Karma's gonna bring the heat. Yeah. Huge, huge run. So in control. Nasty, nasty run. A style score of 31. Yeah, his rear tires were kind of gliding through it. Just to take a quick second, not to take away from Karma's sunshine right now, but that last driver, Fuzzball, glided his rear tire over the zone. Definitely didn't get good coverage, but that initiation and the rest of the track was just so solid. $31 for style and a 34 angle. Karma is gonna join the 90s club if Judge 1 agrees. Hey, Dr. Drift, good to see you over there on Twitch. Welcome in, my friend. 94 for Karma Mark IV with, I will point out, a perfect line score of 33. 33 out of 33 potential points. for that line score. Other drivers and fans, rewind your YouTube live stream and check out Karma's run one more time, because that is the standard. There is no better line you can get. Take notes and try to get your line to match if you are a driver.
Man,
fantastic
I finally
run.
got to give somebody a perfect online. I mean, that was absolutely beautiful online.
Yeah. As soon as I saw his entry into that last hairpin, I knew it was going to be a high line score. Everything else was great. Initiation was great. Full coverage. Bumper was getting rash on each of the outer zones. Transition for the touch and go was perfect. And that hairpin entry was nice and wide. Brought it back in with a nice apex for full coverage on that inner clip and just smooth sailed out to the end of the judge zone. It was obviously going to be a high score. A 94 for Karma Mark IV. The #1 score of the day. Now we have Kid Scythe on his line, ready to go. Many veteran drivers here today, taking on the challenge of Long Beach. Lots of angle in the initiation, bumper over the red and whites, little bumper rash on the OZ1 area. Looking good, trying to get himself up for the right kind of transition. A little bit of a late transition there. And this is the exactly the same thing that happens to other drivers with that late transition. The touch and go, you really want to try and get your car's weight transferred before you hit that touch and go, so you can make the correct entry and apex for that hairpin. But a late transition means a late apex, which means a bit of an awkward run through that last area, but still a pretty solid run nonetheless. Might see some points taken off there, but a solid run from Kid Scythe. Oh, we see you, Fly Fuzzball over there on YouTube. I know you're definitely going to wish you had that Outer Zone 2 back, but hey. The initiation was something to behold.
Oh, it was. I will think about that for a while.
27 for style, 28 for line. And a 25 for angles, so a total score of 80 for Kid Scythe. All right, we have now NXL Shadow, I believe the leader of NXL, or perhaps MDS, which I believe is Midnight Society, perhaps? I'm not sure exactly, but love to see other community leaders coming to compete in FDE on Long Beach Round 3. I did not get a good rolling start. Hopefully it doesn't take off too far from me, but good initiation into the beginning of the run. Good coverage of OZ1. Decent coverage of OZ2, but a bumper rash there on OZ3. What's that going to mean for the touch and go transition? Not too shabby. Lots of momentum lost and a bit of more bumper rash there on the out of the hairpin, but looking good. Well done, Shadow. Doing good today, Doc. Doing good today, man. Day by day, right? Enjoying some awesome Forza drifting with a great community here. No complaints. 28-28 for style and line for NXL Shadow. Midnight District Syndicate. Midnight District Syndicate is MDS Shadow. Just waiting on that angle score, and there's an 84 for MDS Shadow. Well done. Anything in the 80s is gravy. A 90s club score is difficult to get anywhere. If you're in the 80s, you're happy. If you're in the 70s, you might be sweating a little bit, but those higher 70s might still be pretty comfy. But we have now our DNF'd drivers. I think we only have one. It's going to be CCX Pulse. Now it's up to Pulse to finish his run here or meet the end of round 3. Wide on the initiation, but making the necessary corrections for the rest of the line. Here we have the touch and go transition, slowing down for this hairpin, a bit of a sharper angle there for that hairpin, kind of getting an entry a little bit sharp and an exit a little bit sharp, but completing the run nonetheless. Not a double DNF here. He's going to put up a run and stack up against the rest of them. We have a style score of 27 already in. Of course, that will most likely be the first score completed each run. Again, our finish from Finland, Judge 3. FDE Shreddit, the owner and organizer of FDE for 5 seasons now, is operating the panels, the graphics and panels that you see on your screen. Angle score of 25 for CCX Pulse. And just waiting on that line score. That was the last run of this convoy. So we are getting to a bit past our midway mark here. Heading towards the last, perhaps maybe 4 or 5 convoys total probably. So we'll probably see another convoy. Yeah, so we'll probably see 2 more convoys. All right. Coming up with 27 for style, 25 for angle, and a 26 for a line. So a total of 78. Now, again, those higher 70 scores most likely will get in. You can always go back to ForzaDriftEvents.com and go check out the qualifying, the 30-second seed, the last qualifying score of each round, and kind of get an idea of where the cutoff point is. But of course, it depends on the track. It depends on a lot of different factors. But we're going to go ahead and get another convoy situated, and we'll see you guys back here after a few minutes of special messages from our community partners and other great communities in the Forza world. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back from commercial break. This is Forza Drift Events Season 5, Round 3 at Long Beach. Moving on to our fourth convoy of the day. We are expecting a little bit more than 40 drivers here, and with 10 drivers per convoy, we're probably going to be seeing a short fifth convoy as long as things go according to plan. Of course, we are playing on Forza Horizon 5, so if Forza says no, it's a no. So, you know, whether it's a crash or desync or someone lags out, things can always change. But we, of course, appreciate you guys tuning in on twitch.tv/Shunzi and youtube.com/Forza Drift Events for all of your Forza Drift Events goodies. Go check out ForzaDriftEvents.com. Beautiful website created by our FDE staff, and you can find information on previous rounds, future rounds, and of course links to the Discord and ways to get involved. Now, you guys can't see this on your screen just yet. We are loading into the track where we're driving over to the starting line, but I can see on my screen already. Actually, you know what? Let's give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek behind the curtains. This is what it looks like. This is the Event Labs landscape. I'm sure most of you are probably familiar with this, but for anyone who's not, this might look a little bit like, I don't know, some sort of Inception type shit. But the Nissan Stagea, does anyone else love the Stagea as much as I do? It looks like he's about to fall off the map. Gotta love the R34 wagon, dude.
See, everybody wants a GTR. I want a GTST. I like that wagon. That'd be sick, bro. But I like rear-wheel drive drifting.
Are they usually all-wheel drive?
The GTSTs are rear-wheel drive. Actual GTRs are all-wheel drive.
Right. Yeah, I'll take anything 90s JDM. Honestly, you throw anything at me, I'll take it.
Bro, for real, give me a four-door Skyline. I'll take a four-door.
Gosh, I bet you those things are so overpriced. I mean, the whole
they're cheap.
For real.
The four doors, bro. So like the GTSTs and the four doors, they're actually pretty cheap.
Interesting.
Compared to some of the rest of it.
Sure, right.
You get a GTR name badge on there, that's when things start getting expensive.
Well, we have Booty Patrol in the Nissan Stagea, so a little bit of perhaps foreshadowing there. Our first driver is the car we're discussing. Cool looking livery, gotta love the little Kirby action there. Cool. Let's get it started. Booty Patrol on round 3 at Long Beach. Holy cow, he's quick out the line. Swinging that big booty around the track, around OZ1 already. Bit of a late transition into OZ2, but still pretty decent coverage. Coming around town for the touch and go, getting this big long body around the hairpin, and almost made contact with the camera car there. Coming to what nearly seemed like a standstill, but perhaps just really low speed. We'll have to see how that affects the score, but a completed run from Booty Patrol. Part of the D-Gen team. I know we have other drivers from D-Gen, so we'll give them a little shout out there. Now, you definitely don't want to stop in the middle of the track like that. For any future drivers, it perhaps is obvious, but that last hairpin can cause you to lose a lot of momentum, and if you're not careful, could come to a complete stop. And now we're talking about an unchaseable run, and that equates to a DNF. But it looks like we have a line score coming in at 26. You drive a 1992 40, and lucky guy.
Got pictures? Let's see.
Yeah, post them in the Discord, man. 27 from Judge 3. A total of 80. 26, 27, 27. A great score of 80 flat for Booty Patrol in the Stygia. Well done. Onward, it is CCX James Neilio. Again, another veteran driver. We have seen him on the podium many, many times. This is someone we're going to expect to be shooting for that 90s club. Anything can happen here in Long Beach, so James Neilio, take it away. Yeah, see, this is a trademark of high skill right there, is drivers who don't use the e-brake for the initiation. They're just using the body weight of the car, and you can see just how smooth the car is here. Now the hairpin coming in for the last portion, a little bit late of an apex there, but so smooth. Such a beautiful run from James Neilio. Now, the one thing I did see was a bit of an issue with OZ2 we're seeing repeatedly is just not full coverage. You know, drivers are trying to make sure they have the speed and momentum and the right line going into OZ3, and OZ2 you can kind of choke up a little bit too much and end up having maybe just partial coverage there. But other than that, kind of hard to pick apart that run. Very solid looks from James Neilio. And it looks like the judges agree. 31 for style from Judge 3 and a 29 from Judge 1 on the line. And a 31 for angle from James Neilio, hitting that 90s club and then some. 91 total for James Neilio. Is going to be very happy with that. Another 90s club score. You know, it would actually be pretty interesting if we had the data to go back and look at everyone who has a 90s club score and just see who has the most. I would be interested in seeing that, because James Neilio definitely has his fair share, and so does up next driver Daddy Dills. Beep beep to you too, sir. Daddy Dills with door-to-door action coming in on Long Beach. Let's get going. I'm trying to get some rolling starts in here so I don't get too far back. And another skin movement coming in from Daddy Dills with the OZ1 perfect coverage. What is this angle coming out, smacking the wall, going a little bit too hard, I think. Maybe getting into some trouble here at the end and saying, well, the scores don't matter to me. I know that's going to be an 80 plus perhaps for Daddy Dills. The confidence is gleaming. Daddy Dills with an incredible entry and angle throughout the majority of the track. A little bit of trouble on OZ3 going into the touch and go. A little bit of a late transition causing him that trademark out wide hairpin. But that initiation made my voice go up a couple of octaves there. 32 from style. I would have to agree. You gotta love the commitment from Daddy Dills there on the initiation. You can hear the grin on my face. That's the kind of shit we're here for, ladies and gentlemen. We love to see all of our drivers here, new and old, but man, when people get that just sweet initiation, you can tell the stars aligned for them. That's such a treat.
Love seeing that big angle on initiation.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Big commitment.
I think everyone over on YouTube enjoys it as well.
Oh, absolutely.
An 89 for Daddy Dills, not hitting that 90s club. A little bit of a issue with that last hairpin and some shallow coverage of OZ3, but still a solid score nonetheless. You know, that confidence wasn't misplaced. A 89 for Daddy Dills. Up next, I believe YSS Digital was the third place driver from round 2. Of course, our second place was CCX Baz, and first place was solo driver Zanzi. But Digital coming back to Long Beach here, probably going to try and match his round 2 performance. So we're going to be looking to see how he fares in that Cadillac. Big initiation, another high angle, high octane initiation with some outer zone 2 bumper rash. Good transition, perhaps a little bit shallow on that entry, and that's a tactical DNF. That's strategic to tactical DNF, strategic rather DNF from YSS Digital. He knows he can do better there. That last hairpin was just not up to snuff for him, and he's willing to put it on the line, his round 3 competition life on the line, to get a second chance at it after the rest of the convoy goes. Up next, we can see on our screen. Yeah, well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you know, that was a prime example of if you mess up your initiation a little bit, it'll throw you off for the entire rest of the course.
Exactly. I think he was just out a little bit too wide on that initiation, so it changes changes the familiarity of what happens next, right? If you're used to getting that initiation a little bit more shallow on the entry into OZ1, your line changes, your speed changes, your momentum, your transition timing changes, and with such a short track, you know, it's tough to get back into the swing of things. So again, veteran players, new drivers, it's easy to make mistakes like that, but Prez JFK Sr. from Door to Door Action coming up next in the Gojira R32. For those of you who don't know what Gojira is, Google it. Whoo, big angle, but a little bit of a correction there to try and make it through the corner, going over the red and white rumbles. Man, that's a lot of angle. Can he bring the body weight back for the transition? He can, but again, another little bit out wide and a strategic DNF. So again, that initiation, same thing that happened to that last driver, just too much of like basically a propagating issue, a propagating error. So one error that just continues to present itself throughout the rest of the track. Initiation wasn't exactly how they wanted, so Prez JFK Sr. will be back on the line for a second run later on. T Masters coming up next as we come through here. Avoid the plants because they're made of metal. And around the corner. It's kind of a tight fit there.
That's vibranium. That's vibranium.
Yeah, exactly, dude. All right. Simply Doors. T Masters. Another familiar face. Another veteran driver facing the challenge of Long Beach. Yep. Looking good. Yep. Textbook so far. You can see him getting a little bit more angle there through OZ3. Great transition. Good coverage of the inner clip and a nice wide exit out to the wall. Team Masters throwing down at Long Beach. Very solid run from Team Masters there. Love to see that nice transition into the touch and go into that last hairpin. The timing on the transition and how much speed you lose. Of course, 2 deceleration zones on this track. After the initiation and then after the touch and go before the hairpin. And mastering your speed control, your speed management through those areas is definitely good for qualifications, but where that's really going to you know, pay its effort is in the head-to-head battles. Head-to-head battles, especially when you're in the chase, it's all about speed management. So that left foot braking skill that Team Astas obviously displayed, and the judges agree with the display of skill. It is a 91 90s club score for Simply Doors Team Astas. Lots of 90s today. I'm getting a little scared for those drivers who are getting the lower 70s area scores. The more 90s we get, the higher that cutoff goes. So great for Team Astas, perhaps not so great for some of our lower scores. But without further ado, M4 Chippy on the line representing Casual Crew CCX.
Feed an entire family on that wing.
It's a dinner table wing on the Supra.
He brought the kitchen table with him.
He brought the kitchen table. Let's see how he does this initiation. Nice looks. Good control, good coverage. See, that late transition gets people. A little bit of a late transition into OZ2. Let's see if he can get a good transition here for that last inner clip. He does. Good arch, kind of shallowing up there at the end, but still looking solid. But that OZ2 people keep kind of just getting a little bit shallow there. Easy to do. Again, the speed, the timing, the angle that you get, the amount of grip you're getting on that initiation changes the way you enter the rest of the course. 29 style, 29 for a line. Looking good for M4 Chippy so far. Probably hoping for a 32 to get that 90s club score, but I don't know if it's in the cards. A 28 for M4 Chippy, still a great score, still happily into the 80s, which means a smile on the face of M4 Chippy, looking forward to a great chance to enter the top 32 for tomorrow. I am not exactly sure how quickly we'll have that top 32 bracket for everyone, but of course we'll get that information later. We're about halfway through this convoy, and we have one more convoy after this, I believe, but another new car on the track. We got to see a Toyota Soarer earlier. We got to see the Nissan Stygia, and now the Chaser. And I love to see the newer cars on the track. Kind of an interesting part of the game. As these cars are released, it gives people an opportunity to find a new favorite. And it looks like we have BFG Bart on the track, ready to go on the Chaser. Not a lot of grip, so we'll see how he manages that on the rest of the track. Lots of corrections being made. Looks like we got good coverage of OZ1, but the momentum has been lost. And so going through OZ3 might be a bit of a challenge, but he's able to conquer it. Good transition timing, getting a little bit too shallow on the entry, and it looks like he straightened out before the end of the judge section. I'm going to go ahead and say that possibly was an intentional DNF. I'm not sure. We'll get word from our judges. That might have been an easily judged score. It's always nice to do a bit of an oversteer. We have seen a couple of drivers do strategic DNFs earlier, kind of saying like, hey, that was a good run, but I think my next run can be even better. For example, YSS Digital doing so. But let's take it to the qualifying panel and make sure that that is a DNF.
Oh yeah, he smacked the wall before the finish line. That's
okay. Okay. Yep. Thank you. Of course, we do have Judge 1 on the panel, or the casting.
Got my replay action going on over here.
Yeah, that's the great part of YouTube. It's too bad Twitch doesn't do that, but what can you do? All right, so a DNF for Bart. He'll be back a little bit later. Right now, we have another driver. I believe this is from Team Envy. It is SoFlo Ray. Great to see an Envy player here.
That's a big Wang gang.
Oh, okay. He wants another one. Strategical, excuse me. All right, there we go. Beautiful looking Mazda, if I might add. Big speed. Ooh. Lots of speed, but great control going into OZ1 and OZ2. You can see this is a controller driver with the way that those wheels are going back and forth, but lots of control here and a smooth arch through the hairpin. And just making it through the judge section there, I thought that might have been a last-second DNF, but just massive angle on the end of the hairpin. A great look from SoFlo Ray. I think a new driver to FDE, but obviously not a new driver to drifting on Forza. Sweet run. Now that might be as good as it gets for a flicking method driver, where if you're on a controller, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I literally just said in the judges that is the fastest flicker I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That was good, consistent, smooth, and he kept his speed up.
Yeah, he didn't sacrifice angle. His corrections weren't throwing his car wildly. He was making them quick. He was in control. Wasn't too much back and forth. We have an 86 for SoFlo Ray, a very solid score, making into the top half of the 80s. Gonna be happy with that one. Solid run for SoFlo Ray. Up next, we have JDM Hawaiian DK. Let's see if they can earn that DK tag here and now on Long Beach. One thing to self-proclaim Drift King, it's another thing to earn it. Let's see if this S15 can get around the track. Lots of speed on this entry. Good line, perhaps good coverage as well, but perhaps not as much angle as they might have wanted through OZ1. Looking solid through the rest of the zones, choking up a little bit for that touch and go. Little bit of a sharper, oop, that's a DNF. That's definitely a DNF, so looks like we have JDM Hawaiian saying, hey, that was pretty good, but I can do better. He'll be back on the line with our other DNF drivers at the end of the convoy. I believe we have maybe one or two more drivers left. It's very smart from our drivers to utilize those DNFs, especially considering that you can take some time to get to your turn in the convoys, especially if you're in the third or fourth convoy. Might be a little bit cooled down. Might be nice to get a little practice run in and heat back up and you know, reestablish the game plan. But I think we're at the end of the convoy, which means we are with the DNF drivers. It's YSS Digital with a good run at the first time, but at the last second oversteering to take that DNF option. And now it's on the line. So we'll see if it paid off for YSS Digital, the bronze champion from round 2. Rather, bronze medalist, not bronze champion. Very far up ahead, trying to get up close to him. Great coverage. Great angle. Little bit late of a transition, might spell a little bit of a straighten out, and another late transition here for the caddy, but he's making the most of it. YSS Digital. Now, I will say this time and time again. When you make mistakes, it's one thing to throw in the towel, and it's an entirely different thing to make the most of those mistakes. It is absolutely a part of the wheelhouse of skill expression to be able to recover from small mistakes like that. Of course, he's leaving points on the floor there. He's leaving points on the track, but it is a do or die situation, so making the most of the run is the name of the game. We can see those points taken away from the style and line score. We're waiting on that angle score, but a 26 from style and a 27 for line. Just late transitions. There's only 2 transitions on this track, so if you're late on both of them, it's gonna hurt. And YSS Digital with just a simple mistake early on, propagating throughout the rest of the course, getting a 78. Now that is high in the 70s, but it might not be high enough. We'll have to wait later on for that top 32 bracket to break down from FDE Shreddit. I'm sure he's going to be crossing his fingers he makes it into tomorrow's head-to-head battle, but we have another DNF driver. It is Prez JFK Sr. Ready with the R32 and the I Love Moms bumper sticker. Whoa, big speed loss there. Very sweet coverage of OZ1 and OZ2. Great timing on the transition means good timing for OZ3, and coverage little bit late. That was scary, but looking smooth. Prez JFK Sr. pulls it out and puts it down. I was holding my breath on the transition into the touch and go. A little bit late, perhaps, and very close to that wall. But
wall just a little bit.
Yeah,
I got the replay, I'll tell you.
definitely a bit of contact there, but a great run for Prez JFK. 29 for line and a 30 for style. Of course, driving with door-to-door action. Just waiting on that angle score. Could be another 90s club, or it could be just another high 80s. Of course, high 80s is not just another score. Definitely difficult on any track. And it's absolutely a ticket into the top 32 for tomorrow. '86, a 27 coming in from Angle Judge 2. And a total of 86 for Prez JFK Sr. Again, going to be happy with that score, perhaps middle of the pack, so not getting exactly all of the benefits from being a high-seated driver, but most likely top 32 material anyways. Back on the line is BFG Bart. Now we know this driver has a low grip vehicle. We know he's on a controller. It's going to be difficult, especially with a little bit of desync there early on. It's going to be difficult to get around this track. Perhaps even a keyboard player, but good coverage. Oh, it's a wide angle. It's going to be tough to bring that back in for OZ3, but he does. Now the transition for the touch and go. Late transition might be an awkward time through the hairpin a little bit, but hey, that is a clean run nonetheless. Definitely chaseable and definitely complete. BFG Bart doing what is necessary to cement his score into round 3 at Long Beach. Now 24 from style. Now all of the corrections, that a lot of that, the line score 25 as well, just with the shallow coverage of these zones, but that 24 style score coming in just from the fact that there's so many corrections, and it's necessary when you're on a controller. And part of the challenge of being a controller driver is making sure that those corrections are smooth and as infrequent as possible. So definitely getting a little bit of problems there, but again, a completed score is a completed score. We've already seen today veteran drivers being taken out with double DNFs. A total of 71 for BFG Bartz. Definitely a solid score, perhaps not enough to get into the top 32, but of course we are waiting on the final convoy coming up next. But before we get there, one more DNF driver, or maybe two. Right now we have JDM Hawaiian DK on the track. Ready to go. Now the last run definitely was scoreable, but they chose to take another run with their strategic DNF. Now you can see another controller driver trying to minimize the amount of corrections they make, trying to make sure that their control technique does not cost them. And pretty smooth run there from JDM Hawaiian, and definitely a solid when you consider the nerves that might be getting to you. You know that it's either I gotta do this or I'm done kind of situation. Yeah, Long Beach battles. Tomorrow is going to be a whole different set of challenges, and perhaps not different, but just more challenges. Of course, when you're the lead driver, you got to make sure you're leaving space on that hairpin, and when you're the chase driver, the decel zones and those transitions are going to be difficult to follow. The corridor style of Long Beach provides its fair share of challenges. 27 for line, though, for JDM Hawaiian DK, and a 26 for style. Waiting on that angle judge. Now, we did have a few shallow zones, and there it is, a 21 for angle. So great line, great style, but perhaps just not enough angle throughout each of the zones. Maybe good coverage, but just not enough sideways momentum. 74, not too shabby. Might be enough, might not. I think that is the end for this convoy, so we will be back after a few short messages from our community partners and sponsors. Hello once again. Forza Drift Events Season 5, Round 3 here at Long Beach, continuing to take place today, Saturday, November 2nd, our Long Beach qualification day. Lots of 90s scored today. I would probably venture to say more than 10 or near 10. So lots of talented drivers with prepared rigs and prepared with seat time coming into Long Beach. It's a short track. It can be very technical, especially the initiation, and really every point of the track really has its challenges set out for these drivers, and to see so many 90 scores is honestly just a treat. Some incredible initiations from drivers such as Daddy Dilds and Fly Fuzzball. And really just enjoying our time here today. Thank you guys for joining us over on twitch.tv/Shunzi and youtube.com/Forza Drift Events. Once again, all of your FDE information for past, present, and future, ForzaDriftEvents.com. We are currently waiting on one more driver. We have one more convoy to go. Just a handful of drivers, not a full convoy. We have 5 drivers in the convoy right now. I think we're waiting on a 6th, so we're not ready to go just yet. But as we are waiting on that driver, we can go ahead and chit-chat. I don't know if anyone's still there on Twitch or YouTube. I don't really have the viewer counts live, so maybe there's no one there. I don't know. But if you're there, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I'm sure a lot of the drivers... Hey, what's up, Marvin? Great to see you on Twitch. Am I late? Nah, you're on time. Great to have you stop by, man. Another incredible livery artist in Forza. Good to see you, Joel Clues, over on YouTube. And one of my favorite drivers of FDE, WK Gutter, over on YouTube, coming by to say hello.
I see Clips Mateo's over there too.
Hey, what's up, Mateo? Mateo's, I thought was going to be driving today. I haven't seen him though, have we?
Not that I know of, no.
No.
But I do see him over there. We call him Tomato Clips now.
Tomato
Clips Potato. Clips Potato. Or Tomato.
I love it.
That's what called.
I love it. Yeah, I don't know how long this is going to take. We might go back to another commercial break. It should just be a few more minutes, but I don't know if you guys want to hear me fucking yap around for that long. I'm a little bit tired, and we're 2 hours into the show, so my brain's kind of turning to mush as we go on. Kid Scythe, shout out to Marvin for making mine and Booty Patrol's liveries. Oh, hell yeah. I didn't know that Marvin was making liveries for our drivers. We love that. It's one thing about Forza I'll always be proud to highlight is the community aspect of it. We have drivers from many different segments of the community. We have livery artists, we have tuners, drivers, track creators, all coming together to put something together and put on a show for each other and for the community. Definitely a proud point. Marvin is just an incredible livery creator too. Plenty of weekly Forza livery competition W's. You can see his, if you follow the Forza, official Forza Horizon social medias, whether it's Instagram or Twitter or whatever, you can see his liveries on those posts pretty often. Great to see you, Marvin. Looks like we have another driver in the convoy. I believe that's actually one of the leaders of Team Envy, EDM Samurai. I feel like that is definitely one of the staff over at the Team Envy, who puts on another drifting event. Always
so also
gotta love the community leaders. Mm-hmm.
Envy and CCX now do a collab, and actually the new CCX paints were created by PTG Drifter over there at Envy. I think he is the owner of it.
Oh wow! PTG.
So big shout out to him. Yeah. Big shout out to him for all of our liveries from ZCX.
He made all of them, right? Right, because it's kind of like a team livery that everyone kind of puts on and has their own name cards and whatnot. That's really cool.
Yeah, he did an amazing job. They look wonderful.
You know, another livery artist I really like is the full lock livery artist. I think it's Bionic Bunghole, if I'm not mistaken. He made WK Gutters livery. He makes his own. I like their liveries too. Definitely another part of the show here is just seeing all the different styles. It looks like we're getting a new convoy going. I'm not sure if there's issue connecting with the convoy. Let's go ahead and take it to another 4-minute commercial break, and when we return, we'll have our last convoy. I think we're going to start loading up now, so it should be perfect timing. If we end up loading up sooner, I'll just go ahead and cut the commercial a little bit short. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Thank you guys for your patience, and don't go anywhere. Welcome back one last time. Forza Drift Events Season 5 Round 3 qualifications almost coming to a close. We have one more convoy loading in right now. Hopefully everyone makes it through and onto the track. We are at the will of the Forza Horizon servers, which are not always cooperative to say the least, but looks like we're good to go. Making our way up the track soon. We have, what is that? Well, that's 5. We have 8 drivers in here. So just 8 more drivers to go. Definitely some familiar names, but a lot of names I've not seen before. So definitely an interesting group here. And yeah, once again, thank you guys for sticking around today. Of course, the round is only about halfway through now. Of course, tomorrow's top 32 bracket will be shown after this convoy. Perhaps we'll have to wait to see if Shreddit is able to put together that bracket quickly enough. It's a lot of work to live produce this game. Looks like I had someone join. Oh, it's Kentucky Boys. What's up, Kentucky Boys?
What's going on?
What's up, man?
We're hanging out, dude.
Not much, yeah. I'm just here to hang.
Sick. We got Kentucky Boys 97 with us in the stream chat now. I might have to turn down your voice a little bit, but we got our last convoy here. Let's see. Gotta park, and adjust, and rewind, and do all this stuff. I can take it to the track and show that off, and then I'm gonna lower this volume just a touch. But yeah, we should have that top 32 bracket later on. And tomorrow's head-to-head battle should be lined out for us. But if not, sometimes it takes maybe an hour or two after the qualies to get into the, get through the bracket. So might take some time, but we'll have it for you tonight on the website at the very least, and on the Discord. But I think the graphic is going to need to be updated. I do not think this is JDM Hawaiian DK. We'll go ahead and wait for that graphic to update and make sure we know exactly who this driver is. Unfortunately, I don't see a driver placard. Is this Jetstream?
Jetstream.
Okay. Jetstream 4697. Gotcha. I'm up first for this last convoy. Let's go. Okay, it looks like we have Jetstream on the line. Yeah, he's on YouTube shouting out. He's ready to go. Let's not make him wait. Let's go ahead and get Jetstream on his way through the track. Alright, lots of speed, a little bit wide on the entry. It might be a little bit difficult to come back. You can see the line is a little bit manipulated because of that late transition and entry, but he's making the most of it, going through the touch and go and inner clip for the end of the judge section. Looking solid. A little bit here and there you can kind of choose, but looks like we have a previous result for our judges panel as well. You can we'll go ahead and for sure wait for this one. We got to see what score Jetstream was able to put down. Hopefully Shreddit is there and alive. But
can anybody else hear me except for us in here, or no?
No, yeah. Just me, you, and Addict Actual.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean the stream. No, the stream can definitely hear you.
Gotcha. Yeah, okay, the YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube, Twitch, everyone can hear you.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir. All right, there's Jetstream. 27 for the style. Here we go. Yeah, it was JDM Hawaiian from our last convoy. That's okay. It only took a few seconds for it to get back up to speed.
Hello in a Mustang. I wonder if he'll change it up and look different than all the other Mustang drivers.
Yeah, lots of Mustangs today for sure. Jetstream in that S13 though with a total score of 83, 28, 28, 27. That's going to be a good score for Jetstream. Definitely going to be a high likelihood of him making it at the top 32. Usually, I don't think I remember a single round where the 80s were cut off. Maybe one round where it was like an 82 was the cutoff, but that might have been Englishtown, and I'd say this track is definitely a lot more complicated than Englishtown. But moving on to the Mustang previously mentioned, this is UGD Mellow on the line. Ready to go. Looks like we have a controller player here, just based on the wiggle, the classic wiggle. But a controlled wiggle. Good transition, perhaps not full coverage, but pretty good coverage of that OZ2, and a wall tap. Ooh, that's a lot of speed into the inner clip. So that wall tap kind of sending him shallow into the touch and go, causing him with a late transition and too much speed. So DNF, yeah. The walls, yeah, I know it really does matter also the angle you're hitting the wall at. If you're kind of going in line with the wall and you get bumper rash, it really doesn't tend to throw you off much. But if you hit it at any sort of angle, like Mello did there, it's going to boot you right back off and mess up your line. Even if it doesn't mess up your angle, it's going to mess up your line. Looks like we have another new face. Lots of new faces in the community today. I really like to see all of the new drivers here, new cars, new builds, new expressions of skill. We love to see it. It is another UGD driver. Sick looking livery. It's UGD Mr. Slip Nips. Another bionic bunghole style name, if you will.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Ooh, nice angle. Big angle into the initiation.
Yeah, you gotta remember, this is Alpha Drift. I'm sure you're familiar with him.
Ooh, actually, Alpha Drift. Is that Mr. Slipnips?
Yeah, Alpha Drip. Yeah, that
Alpha
was his
Drip.
old account.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, I can't keep up with the name changes, but unfortunately a DNF there. You know, kind of coming out of the outer zone 1, kind of shallowing up the angle too much, and when he got into OZ2, the shallow angle with the bumper tap caused him to go completely straight. Definitely going to spell disaster for anyone who tries to do that. But, of course, we have second chances here. Up next, it's OG Old School, another new face in FDE. Sick looking livery though. God dang, the liveries are on point today.
Another big Wang Gang car.
Yeah. The park bench, as New Order would put it.
That's your TV track.
He loses it on OZ too.
Oh, it's gone. It's gone.
And a good transition. And
that was
a
a
good
run.
arch. Yeah, that was a great run from
run
OG
there.
Old School. You know, never know what to expect when it's a name that I'm unfamiliar with, but it's always a good time to see someone come out of the blue and throw down a solid run like that. We should see it probably well into the 80s there. Very good control throughout the entire track. And I liked the transition into the touch and go. A good deceleration management through that decel zone and into the hairpin. Nice wide entry, getting good coverage of the inner clip and a wide exit. A 31 for line from Judge 1, Style 28.
Yeah, his wings said there was so much torque it twisted the chassis. You know what I'm saying?
Angle, score, we're waiting on it for a 27, a total of 86 for OG Old School. Definitely going to be happy with an 86. Well done. Up next, we got Slides for Days. I know CCX Bubba, if he's not watching, perhaps he is, but he's a big fan of this C7, so hopefully Slides for Days can do it justice. Through OZ1 and OZ2 with good coverage in OZ3 as well. You can see it's another controller driver. A bit of a late transition here into the touch and go. A shallow entry into the last hairpin inner clip. Definitely going to get some points off there, but a solid run nonetheless. Put together and put down a scoreable run, so that's definitely going to be up to the up to the judges.
Yeah, come next season, Bubba, we've been R&D'ing another chassis for Bubba, and I think we got him down to a top 3 pick for him because we noticed the wide front tires that you can't change the width any smaller on the C7.
Yeah.
The wide front tires are kind of giving us some issues sometimes. So
yeah, grip up too much, too frequently, or just randomly at times. That's something that Baz actually helped me out when obviously I have yet, and my wheel is sort of broken right now, so unfortunately I don't plan on competing, unfortunately. Maybe by January with round 4 or round 5. But yeah, when I know Baz was talking to me about how you can get more smooth corrections if you have a thinner tire up front. So
yeah, but you're not new to it. There comes a point, you start running a bicycle tire, you're not going to get much feedback to see what the car's doing up there. So.
Yep, definitely a balance. And, that comes down to preference, too, And how much your car weighs, all that jazz. You also have a 26-27 for Slides for Days coming with the final judge to seal his fate. Perhaps taking a little bit of time to review the line.
Yeah, Shunsy, I'd be in this last, I'd be here in this last convoy, but I just had a surgery, so.
Yeah, you know what? Addict Actual was letting me know that you might be out today. It's a bit of a bummer.
Can't get in and out of the old rig.
Dang. Well, we had a Slides for Days 81 total, another 80 score there. Black Viper up next, but yeah, I mean, do you see yourself, hopefully a speedy recovery? Do you see yourself joining us back for round 4 in January?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
for sure.
Sweet. That's good. Good to hear it. We got Black Viper coming up next in a Trans Am. Okay.
Let's see if he's got the mullet power with him today.
You have to have them all with you.
Oh, yeah. Going over the red and white rumbles, not a good sign early on. A little bit of a late transition there for OZ2, but good coverage and maintaining control. Going through the touch and go, another late transition. Very sharp on the hairpin, but a completed run. Now, again, these are repeated themes throughout the day. Late transitions and shallow entries into the hairpin are going to cost you. And you can see how easy it is to make those mistakes there. Black Viper putting up a scoreable run, but definitely showing us that this track means business. You got to have those transitions. There's only 5 areas. There's 4 zones and a touch and go. And there's only 2 transitions. And if you're late on those transitions, it's a big deal. It accounts for more of a percentage of the time spent on track than something like a Moto Arena Lodge, where you're making many different transitions. You have a lot of time. A 71 for Black Viper. Again, a completed run in FDE on any round is a good run. Very challenging even to get through the track and cement a score. So I'm sure Black Viper will be happy with that. Up next, okay, we are taking off without the camera car. I'm trying to transition scenes. He's a little bit far away. Trying to make my way back up. It looked like a good transition from far away. It looks like it might be a keyboard driver. Those front tires are tweaking. And we're going into the hairpin. Looking good for the last hairpin. Definitely a new driver, perhaps a little bit of nerves getting to you. Great looking run. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch that first part of the run You always want to make sure you're waiting for the camera car triple horn. Gotta wait for that beep, beep, beep. We have Black Viper, and now it's not Black Viper. I don't know what to make of this, but that's okay. The initiation, it might be a redo from our judges. We'll wait to see. Let me go ahead and change back over to the judges chat and make sure I'm not getting messages. Okay, yeah, a little bit hard to see. You want to make sure that you're not leaving points on the track by going a little bit too early. Easy mistake to make, but also easy to correct. The initiation looked good. It was a little bit out wide, but good coverage through OZ1. Yeah. Okay, looks like it's going to be a rerun. Okay, it's not Black Viper. One more time through the course. I'm going to give you the horn quickly so you don't go without me. Nope, nope. Let me transition the thing. Okay. Okay, now we're on the gameplay, and let's go. All right, we're going now. Get that caddy off the line. That's an ATS, not a CTS, so interesting choice of caddy. Big angle, holy cow. That is not fantastic coverage of OZ1. Perhaps a little bit too much angle there, causing him to slow down more than he's used to, but my goodness, the angle from this caddy is immense. Very good arch there, putting that front bumper, that front lip over the inside clip on the hairpin, looking really good and confident, almost saying like, hey, you want me to do it again? I'll do it even faster this time. Speeding away. Lots of angle there. The only thing that comes to mind is that OZ1, just not very good coverage of OZ1.
So it looked like if he even got any tires in, he completely missed it. And then he was a little outside on the inner clip at the end.
Yeah. 29-29. Coming down to our last few drivers. We do have a couple of DNFs to get through. But an 86 for It's Not Black Viper. Very interesting names. I don't know why, you know, there's always some fun to be had here in FDE.
Oh, there's gotta be
perhaps a duo of friends there competing here in FDE round 3. But moving on, we have EDM Samurai representing CCX with the CCX liveries on it. So I think you actually let me know earlier he made the livery, right?
Not him. No.
Not him. Who made these liveries? Because they're really good looking.
The owner of NV1.
The owner of NV1. Gotcha. Well, it looks amazing. I'm sure Samurai is going to give us a treat here in Long Beach. Let's get to it. Calm, cool, and collected out of the gate. Coming through hot into the corner, very shallow on the corner, but great coverage of OZ1. I think I saw two tire coverage of OZ2, a little wall tap there, and a very late transition. So yeah, that wall tap sending him a little bit shallow into the touch and go, kind of messing up his timing for his transition. Late transition means a missed hairpin, something we've seen time and time again today. It's going to be even harder to get through that tomorrow. I know that's a DNF, but apparently he earned 2 points on that. No, I'm just joking. It's a DNF. We're going to the gameplay screen. And Mello. So now we have DNF drivers. Starting back at the top, it is Mello from UGD. Alright, we have 2 UGD members still in the convoy. I believe only one need to go for their second run, though. Back up and make sure they're comfortable, and we'll get it going. Nice angle. Sweet line into the outer zone 1. Good looks for outer zone 2. Lots of speed here. You don't want to get too much contact on that wall, and that's exactly what happens. Late transition. Don't go off the track, though. Oh, he pulls it back and just barely makes that hairpin. He straightens out at the end. I think that was a major correction for that driver. Now, again, yeah, what's going to happen is our driver needs to be able to have a chaseable run. That is what matters most. And that's a DNF. An unchaseable run through the hairpin and the last section of the track before the end of the judge section. It was looking good up until then, but that outer zone 3 wall hit was the beginning of the end. Straightening out the car, late transition, late apex, and straightening out the car too much. It's on an unchaseable run. Go check out the FDE rulebook, and you'll know exactly what we're talking about. It's all spelled out there. If drivers and qualifications are not able to drive a line that is chaseable, unfortunately spells a DNF. But UGD has one more hope. It is Mr. Slip Nips. Formerly known as Alpha Drip?
Yes.
All right. He is fast out the gate. Big angle into OZ1. Sweet coverage. A little bit shallow through OZ2 means a sharp OZ3, and there's that wall tap that's hitting everyone right now. We're seeing another wall tap, late transition, a sharp hairpin. That definitely had more angle and more of a wide exit than Mellow did, but still very shallow on the really the edge of what is chaseable and what isn't chaseable. I think that's still scoreable. Yeah. So again, the same mistake there. It's so taking the right line through OZ2. A lot of drivers are trying to extend their drifts by not going deep into OZ2. But what that's doing is making the curve sharper for OZ3, which means more speed management is necessary to get around that corner. And a lot of these drivers aren't able to make that cut. They're kind of tapping the wall too hard. It's sending their line really sharp and causing them to straighten out. They're trying to correct their angle right before the transition, and it's causing those transitions to be late, which then causes the entry to be sharp into the hairpin, and then a out wide or just a funky hairpin for that last inner clip. But a lot of these end of the track errors begin with that outer zone 3. Very difficult part of the track, and the line matters a lot here. Unfortunately, a score of 65 for Mr. Slip Nips. Both drivers from UGD having trouble in the same fashion, but great to see new drivers around. We love to see those sweet-looking liveries back on the track in round 4, and perhaps a fight for redemption then. But now is EDM Samurai back on the track. This is a driver I expect to be able to handle the nerves of a do-or-die situation and concrete a score. Rather cement a score. Smooth looks so far. Bit of a sharper line again. Okay. It's tough, but he did his best to make a correction there. Dude, it's the same story. A lot of these drivers just maybe too much speed or the wrong line into OZ3, causing a wall tap, the straighten out, the late transition, and the funky hairpin. It is a repeated recipe here on Long Beach.
Where I think a lot of drivers are messing up here, I see, is they're not throwing the angle that they should. Like, they probably throw this angle while they're practicing.
Right.
In that OZ2 right there.
Yep.
To set them up for that sweep.
Yep. Completely agree. it's actually really interesting how early an early mistake just continues to cost you throughout the rest of the track here in Long Beach. It's funny because it's such a short track. There's not a lot there's not a lot of time for those mistakes, but one mistake just causes so many issues down the line.
Yeah, Long Beach is definitely a track where one mistake is usually a snowball effect until you hit the wall or across the finish line. So
yeah. EDM Samurai with a 23 for line and 24 for style. And I can feel for these drivers too, because a lot of these drivers are putting in the time in the seat and on track, and they're getting these beautiful runs and practice sessions. But that's the name of the game. That's competition. And either you show up in the moment or you don't show up at all. Unfortunately, EDM Samurai with a 62, with a total 62 for 23, 15, and 24. So perhaps a little bit too low to make it into that top 32 bracket. We should have an updated bracket for you, though, because I think that is the end of the day. Top 32 bracket. Actually, let's take it back. I want to see what the top scores were for today. I want to take it back to the gameplay screen for just a moment here and see if we can see, sorry to show you guys all this, the top scores of the day. It's going to take too long to slide through that. Let's just take it straight to the bracket. Sometimes it's nice. Oh, there's nothing there. Okay. Sometimes it's nice to be able to see those top 5 or 6 scores. So just count out how many 90s we had. But I think we're actually going to have a live update of the bracket. So we're going to hold it right here as Shreddit is going to. Yep, there we go. Live update the bracket. Our first seeded driver with a total score of 94 is Karma Mark 4. Coming up as the second seed is Young Ziyagi with a 92, and tied for third is Zanzi. Zanzi returning from round 2 at Oman International, claiming gold medal there. Round 2 champion, earning himself 100 championship points for the season standings. Looks like we have T Masters with a score of 91 for our 4th seed, and 5th seed close behind with a 90. I think a 90 or 91 is Crazy Yoda. Crazy Yoda was, I believe, our second driver of the day and our first 90s club score. So very high seeding for Crazy Yoda. When you get a 90 score, you're in a happy place. Now we have Play Pro, part of FDE production team there. At our 6th seed, I believe Play Pro got a 90. And up to James Neilio with our 7th seed. Yeah, it was a great day of runs, gentlemen. Great to have you guys today. Thanks again for joining on YouTube and Twitch as we are reading out our top 32 bracket live. We have YSS Preem at seed 8 and Fly Fuzzball at seed 9. Now, I know Fly Fuzzball got a 90, a score of 90, so that's at least 9 90s club scores for today at Long Beach. Now we have on the right side of your screen Bionic Bunghole. I know Bionic had an 89, so today's total of 90s club scores is 9 total 90s. Bionic Bunghole as our 10th seed with that 89. Still nothing to scoff at. Daddy Dills with that incredible initiation, very similar to Fly Fuzzball's initiation. Full send, full angle, bit of a backy into OZ1, which takes some big balls because the wall is there to take your life. But moving on, who else do we got? Spunky Monkey on the bottom left, a newer face to FDE, coming up with the 12th seed. Now, a new driver getting a top 16 seed in qualifying is a amazing accomplishment, so big ups to Spunky Monkey there. And Dakeem as our 13th seed. 14th seed on the right side going to TKOG. 15th seed on your top right should be updated just momentarily. It is CCX Bubba. Now, Bubba has been getting into the top 16, top 32 for quite some time now. As you heard earlier from our fellow FDE staff, Kentucky boys, perhaps ditching the C7 soon, but we'd love to see him throw that thing around all these tracks so masterfully. Now we have the leader of CCX Baz, founder of CCX is IX Baz in our 16th seed. That makes out the top 16 drivers of the day. And moving on to the bottom 16, starting out with OG Old School at 17. I am looking for the 18th seed. That would be SoFlo Ray, another new face from, I believe, NV1. Fantastic run today. And now I'm looking for that 19th seed on your bottom right. Going to be updated just momentarily. M4 Chippy, about to round off the top 20 drivers of the day. We're starting to see our duos take place. So we see IX Baz taking on OG Old School in that 16th, 17th seed battle. And we now have TKOG and M4 Chippy, our 14th and 19th seed. The top 20 is rounded off with It's Not Black Viper taking on Dakeem. And now we have Prez JFK Sr. taking on Spunky Monkey on the bottom left hand of your bracket. Moving on to 22 on the bottom right, who is going to be facing Daddy Dilds. It's going to be GT2 Picasso. Picasso, get ready for some massive entry angle tomorrow morning, because I know, or tomorrow afternoon rather, because I know Daddy Dilds is not going to hold back on that lead run. Driver number 23 is NXL Shadow taking on Bionic Bunghole. And 24 taking on Fly Fuzzball is Jetstream. And now we're getting into the massive quali score deficits, where we have the 8th seed taking on the 25th seed. It's Preem versus JDM Caliber. Next up, James Neilio, the 7th seed, taking on Bronzy, our 26th seeded driver. Now, I feel like Bronzy definitely got an 80. I feel like Bronzy got like somewhere in the middle of the 80s. So we're still in the 80s, and there's only 6 spots left. We're looking at our 27th driver, which is going to be on your bottom right, Slides for Days up against Play Pro. 28 is on the bottom left. We have Crazy Yoda taking on the 28th seed is Tro XD. Definitely still in the 80s. And our 29th seed is going to be on the center left. Team Masters will be facing Kid Scythe tomorrow. Our 30th seed, only 3 positions left. I believe Kid Scythe got an 84. It is Booty Patrol with a 30th seed placement. And 2 drivers left, top right, top left. Boosted taking on Young Ziahi tomorrow morning. A tall task indeed, but again, anything can happen. Random mistakes, double D and Fs. There's always a chance for an upset. And a very interesting head-to-head here. YSS Digital is going to round out our top 32 drivers, taking on Karma Mark IV. Now, don't let that seed fool you. YSS Digital may have scored low. I believe that was actually a score of 78. I'm pretty certain YSS Digital got a 78, which means the cutoff mark was a 78. Pretty much exactly where I thought it was going to be. You got to really get into those high 70s if you want to have a chance most of the time. But congratulations, before you is our top 32 drivers of Round 3, Season 5, Forza Drift events. Definitely going to be a great day of head-to-heads. Tomorrow we have our expectations kind of set out for us. We can see the initiation matters. OZ2 is going to kind of set the stage for the rest of the track. The touch and go and hairpin are going to be challenging, especially when you have a driver chasing. The speed management is going to cause a lot of highlights, a lot of moments. I'm excited for it. Kentucky Boys and Addict Actual, anything you guys, or any head-to-head that you guys see that you're particularly looking forward to?
Man, I don't know, but I'll tell you.
Nah.
Qualies are cool, but them battles tomorrow are going to be some good battles.
Yeah. It's the quarter, right? It's a thin track. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I love to see when take Yoda for instance, right? He's a really consistent, really smooth roller on controller, right? That's the battles I like to see. Either a wheel on wheel battle or a wheel on a very smooth roller battle. Yeah. Just because you can, as a chase driver, you can actually put the car right next to them and not have to worry about their front end wagging back and forth a little bit.
Exactly.
So I'm really excited to see those battles tomorrow.
Yep, me too. We definitely see more of those battles as we get into the top 16 and eventually top 8. But the top 32 bracket is set in stone for tomorrow. Please keep yourself updated with what's going on in the Discord. In the past, there have been times where certain drivers, they have something come up, whether it's work or family or maybe an internet outage, where drivers, perhaps the 33rd seed or 34th seed, is able to get into the competition. Sometimes there's buy runs, so keep your attention on the Discord and, of course, ForzaDriftEvents.com. Thank you guys so much for joining us today for qualies in round 3. We appreciate the time spent driving and preparing. Of course, all of our staff today, FDE Shreddit as our third judge, Pogo the Clown as our second judge, and on the panel with me, Addict Actual as our first judge, and a surprise guest, Kentucky Boys, joining us for the last bit of the day. Thank you guys, of course, and we'll be back here tomorrow. Again, there's a time change going on in the United States, and I assume like around the world, so please make sure you're paying attention to the Discord to know exactly what time to come back for tomorrow. But we'll see you then. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and take care.